So without further ado, please welcome Kathy Franklin.
It is very exciting to be here at Merging Media, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you some insights into how we at Lightstorm Entertainment are thinking about our fan community. And I'm going to share my remarks, and then at the end I'll leave time for questions. So if you have questions about anything I say today, or just questions in general you would like to ask, I hope that you will ask them so that I have a chance to give you additional insights into how what we think about in terms of fans might relate to your stories and to your story worlds. So, as I said today, we're going to focus on fans, how we at Lightstorm think about defining who are our fans, how we work to engage them, and how we really try to understand them. And we'll try to make some connections to how that might be relevant to your properties. But before I start today, just a quick reminder about the film that I'm here to discuss, a little property, as Tom said, called Avatar, which came out in 2009 and is the #1 film of all time with $2.8 billion in global box office. And it's the story, for those of you who may not have seen it, of Jake Sully, who is a wheelchair-bound former Marine, and he turns out to be a very unlikely hero on a very alien planet. And on the off chance that some of you missed 2009 completely, or were one of the 6 people who actually did not see Avatar worldwide, let's just take a minute and we'll go back to Pandora.
You are not going to believe where I am.
So, with that level of box office, why does having fans matter? I mean, obviously we have an audience. Fans are more than ticket buyers. They're more than viewers. They're more than readers. They're people who have personally engaged with your story. And for us, as we're in the process of creating 3 sequels to Avatar, Jim Cameron and a team of screenwriters are right now creating 3 sequels, it's not enough for us just to have an audience. We need to have true fans. And you might have a major standalone success, or you might even have a series of standalone successes, but without the connection that creates fans, you have a story but not a story world. And this is work that we believe you have to be ready to do if you want to sustain your story world over time, because at the end of the day, long-term success comes to those who have a share of heart as well as a share of spending. And by spending, I don't just mean financial spending, thank you for buying a ticket. People spend their time. You want them to spend their time with you, and you want them to engage on a deeper level. So who are fans? Or the people with the potential to go beyond being an audience to become fans? There are many ways to identify who your fans are, and they're different from project to project. But for large-scale IP like Avatar, we often define who are our fans by Facebook. And taking a look at our Facebook analytics has really helped us identify some of the unique factors about Avatar fans and how they differ from more traditional sci-fi properties. So who are our Facebook fans? Well, there are 48.3 million of them, so mostly we know that there are lots and lots and lots of them. We've actually added more than 24 million fans in the last 2 years. So you'll recall I said Avatar came out in 2009, and around the time frame of the film, we got about 24 million fans on Facebook, which was not shabby. And 2 years ago, we said, we don't think Facebook should just be a tool to sell the latest DVD. We want it to be a tool for us to engage our fans. And we started putting out compelling images, quotes, videos, other pieces from the film that we knew our fans liked. And suddenly we started picking up steam again. And we are actually now adding 1 million fans a month on Facebook with no marketing spend, merely by going out to our current fans and asking them to share with their friends what they like about the film. Our ratio from a gender perspective is 53% male, 47% female. This is not a traditional science fiction gender split. Obviously, women are huge fans of Avatar, and that was a very important insight for us. We did not get to $2.8 billion at the box office just by having men between 18 and 35 come to see this film. They brought their wives, they brought their girlfriends, and those women told their friends that it was actually a fantastic film, and they've stayed with us as fans. Primarily between 18 to 24 years old, this is mostly, we think, actually about what Facebook can reach as versus what we, as Avatar, can reach. But our largest representation right now is fans from the United States. And at the time I sent in this slide, Indonesia was second. They've slipped to third. Mexico has passed Indonesia. We have over 600,000 Canadian fans. Thank you very much for anyone out there who might be among them. But we are really fascinated by the fact that only 15% of our Facebook audience is from the US. 85% of our audience is outside the US and really reflects the global nature of our property, and that's going to be a theme that we return to because globalization is obviously with us to stay. Basically, because we have 48 million fans, their reach to their friends and friends of friends gives us the ability to reach 1 billion people, all of Facebook. So that's who we see as our potential fans in the future. So those are the numbers, but what do those numbers really mean? You know, each of those numbers is a person, someone who took a moment to engage with us at some level, even if it's just as simple as clicking like on Facebook. But some of our fans have gone much deeper. And this is actually just a set of the fan sites that have started, some of them the night that our fans went to see the movie in theater, and they went straight home and started up a fan site because they wanted to find other people who had enjoyed that experience as much as they did. For instance, Learn Navi, which is the core of our online Navi language learning community, has had as many as 5,000 people participating in learning more about Navi, which is a constructed language for the film. So that's a really robust community. They continue to be involved. And to give you a sense of where fans can go when they get really inspired, the folks at Learn Navi have really built a deep and profound relationship with Dr. Paul Frommer, who created the Navi language. They are in close personal touch with him on an ongoing basis. And they went to Dr. Frommer and they said, here's the problem with Navi. You didn't make enough words for the film. And we all really want to develop our Navi language skills. We need more words. And he said, well, what would you suggest? And they have been working amongst themselves within the community on creating new words in Navi. They've organized themselves into committees. Words are submitted to the committees. The committee vets them. Words they feel pass muster within the rules of this conlang are submitted to Dr. Frommer, who says, yes, that's officially in the language. So Navi, as a language, has grown organically by leaps and bounds since 2009, based on the efforts of fans. So language aside, why do our fans love this property? Well, Avatar offers something for everyone, we feel, but what fans love is different in different geographies, in different demographics. And so we really need to address the fact that our fans have very, very different things that they love. So coming out of the success of the film, which quite frankly was unprecedented, if not unexpected, and we really were looking at what do we want to offer fans? What are they most interested in from the film? So we did research about what fans liked about the film. And as you can see, these things fall into categories, but they're not necessarily the categories you would expect for a sci-fi film. There are many people who love the world of Pandora. They love the environment, the bioluminescent forest at night and that beautiful glow. They love the creatures. They want to fly on a banshee. They love the Navi people. There's a whole subset of this group who just thinks Neytiri is smoking hot. That's a big piece of our business. There are people who love the message. There is a not necessarily subtle environmental message woven all the way through Avatar that uses Pandora as a way to talk about the fact that if we continue to treat indigenous people and our natural resources the way we are now, we are on a path to destruction. There are folks who love the love story When Avatar came out, it was really believed that it was going to be males 18 to 35 who came to see this film. And then there was a love story in it because it's James Cameron and he does that. And so women in particular are attracted to this aspect of the film. There are those who just love James Cameron films. And there are many people who felt that the film technology, the unique use of 3D in Avatar, was one of the most compelling aspects of it. It certainly drove people to see it in theater, in 3D, in most cases multiple times. There's also a unique aspect of Avatar that is really a huge piece of the ethos of the film and of our planning for the franchise long term, that is about this idea of community and connection. In Avatar, there is a core idea that on Pandora, all living creatures are connected, that they have a deep connection to each other through essentially a neural network on the moon, and that as a result, they are all in some way responsible for each other. And that's something that has really resonated with a lot of filmgoers. There are also many people who have used Avatar as a way to create connections for themselves in real life with people who share their values and their beliefs. So how do they express their fandom? Fandoms get expressed in many different ways by many different people. Some people take their Na'vi language skills and translate Christmas carols. Some people go on DeviantArt where you will find thousands of pieces that are inspired by Avatar, some of them incredibly beautiful, people demonstrating significant talent on behalf of our franchise. There are a lot of folks who love to do Na'vi cosplay, and I love this particular picture. This is one of our fans from Hungary. She and her entire family do Na'vi cosplay. They're the Na'vi family. We got their Christmas card last year. It's amazing. And she reached out to us and said, can I please have detailed reference for Mowat's beaded top in this scene, because I really want to create that for my cosplay. And she did this piece herself by hand, bead by bead, based on detailed reference from the film. That level of connection of time and personal involvement is really unprecedented. There are about 1 million videos on YouTube about how to do Na'vi makeup. Holiday 2010 was a big year for these videos, and on the internet, nothing ever goes away. And then there's the parody video.
On Pandora, 10 years after the defeat of the Sky People,
Jake Jr., come over here.
the balance of nature has been restored.
Did you hear something?
But Jake Sully is about to make a discovery that will change his life forever.
I am your father.
This summer,
Run, Forrest, run!
James Cameron presents a totally,
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
completely
Expelliarmus!
original screenplay
I'm the Quan Mourier.
in one epic adventure.
Will you take the blue pill, or will you take the red pill?
I will take the ring.
That will live with you forever.
Hold me closer, tiny dancer. You are count the headlights on.
An experience unlike any other.
They may take our lives,
Show me the money.
but they'll never take our freedom!
Avatar 2, My Big Fat Pandora versus the Deathly Hallows striking back at Muriel's lethal weapon. Reloaded.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to have a sense of humor in this business. But that's an amazing video. The amount of time, talent, treasure that went into that, I will call it loving homage to Avatar, really speaks to the idea that people engage around this story and they want to have fun with it, but it's a way of really expressing people's talent and their connection. You know, there are lots of ways to express connection. This is Raymond. He's one of our fans. He actually goes in the community by Mr. Avatar, and he's hardcore. I don't know if you can see in this picture, but this is his truck. His license plate reads Neytiri. This is when he started doing tattoos. And he feels so strongly about this character that he is literally wearing it on his body. He actually has started to add more tattoos that are Na'vi banding, and he has really committed himself physically to his fandom for the film. I wanted to share this piece because to me, it actually symbolizes where we're trying to go with our fandom. I mentioned Dr. Paul Frommer, who is the creator of the Na'vi language. The Na'vi language community and the Avatar fan community have gotten so close and spent so much time together online that they started doing in-person meetups 3 years ago. This year was Avatar Meet 3. And it was in the Shenandoah Valley outside of Washington, D.C., and Avatar fans came from around the world to just spend time with each other for a week. They hung out, they did language lessons, they did cosplay, but mostly they were spending time in person with people who they've become really good friends with because of Avatar. And one of the organizers, Miko, did a message to Lightstorm. There were lots of thank you messages they were kind enough to send us because we sponsored a screening of the film and some snacks and helped underwrite some of their expenses to have this gathering. So they sent us all messages, and I think Miko's take on what Avatar means to him now, in 2013, speaks to where we really want our fandom to go.
Watching Avatar for the first time in a year at Avatar Meet 2013 with the clan was a really weird, special experience for me. For the first time, I realized that the film it's almost distant history in this community that we have. It was the catalyst that started it all, but we've grown into something so tight-knit and so special that it's really hard to put into words. And the continued support we get from the people behind the film with Dr. Paul Frommer, of course, or Karyo Paul, or Elan Paul, as we call him now, and the folks there at Lightstorm. Really, it seems special, but it's not, because it's so obvious that this community is so tight-knit and so intertwined in everything. And we look forward to working on the next Avatar Meet because it never really stops. We're communicating every day with these people, and what's being created is really special and something that I hope never ends.
So, all of that said, you've gotten your fans, they're engaged. How do you keep them engaged? Well, because if your fans love you, they love you, but there are other properties vying for their attention all the time. How do you keep some part of their mind share? Well, discoverability, as everyone here I'm sure is more than aware, is one of the biggest challenges facing all storytellers today. And just as an example for us, we're Avatar. We should be really discoverable, right? Well, we're choosing to move our franchise presence from avatarmovie.com, which was our site for the movie launch in 2009, to avatar.com for a couple of reasons. The first being that it's going to allow us to do a lot to develop our franchise even when we don't explicitly have anything to sell. But most importantly, it's going to make us findable. It will be a way for people who are interested in Avatar to find everything about us in one place. We need to be easy to find. And when people find us, we have to make the most of that moment. We need to use our online presence and social media to really keep the connection alive and to sustain that conversation that started when people first saw the film. So classically, when you build engagement platforms online, you do it with a certain kind of person in mind, right? Like men 18 to 35. And this allows you to make changes and craft new interactions because you're trying to get that perfect end user to give you their time or their money. That's a challenge for us because our fans don't fit just one niche. We really have to think about looking at potential fans across a broad spectrum. We have to offer up a range of possible ways for fans to engage with us, a portfolio strategy, if you will, that takes into account this broad range of folks. So if you want to learn Na'vi and become fluent in the language, great. if you actually just want to be interested in the bioluminescent forest and learn more about the animals, great. If you just want to play games inspired by Avatar, also great. Whatever it is you want to do, our vision is that at avatar.com, you will be rewarded for whatever your points of connection are, and that those rewards will then continue to build your ownership as a fan. So, how does this relate to how you can keep your fans engaged? At a core level, what we found is most effective are the following. Go to where your fans are. You might go literally, you might go virtually, or even metaphorically, but wherever they are, try to go there. This is an image of John Landau, the producer of Avatar, who actually went to last year's Avatar meet in Seattle and spent about an hour and a half talking to the fans about his experience working on the film, telling them inside scoop kinds of stories, answering all of their questions about the film. And the fans had all made him a giant birthday card they had all signed because it was his birthday. It was a really special day and an amazing connection. If you can't go to where your fans are, to the extent possible, invite them in. This is a picture of Yasu Tano, who runs Avatar Nation, and he's really one of our most ardent and enthusiastic fans. He's an ambassador for the brand. He lives in Los Angeles. He just moved there, so we had him come to visit us at Lightstorm and see the studio and where we work. It happened to be a day that Joel David Moore, who plays Norm on the film, was there visiting. So that was a really cool experience for him. But it was also a cool experience for us because our connection to him makes us better at what we do. You also just, at the end of the day, need to make it clear that your fans have an audience, namely you, the creator of the story world that they love, and that they have your attention. And there are a lot of ways of signaling that. In this particular case, James Cameron and John Landau had flown to Beijing on the day that we found we were hitting 30 million fans on Facebook, and they had been up all night and they were totally jet-lagged, but they still were willing to make this video for us to post to Facebook.
Hi there, John and I are here in Beijing. We're here for the second annual Beijing International Film Festival, and we just wanted to give you guys a shout out because we just passed 30 million fans.
Thank you very much to all the fans out there around the world. We're very excited to continue to expand the Avatar universe and to have you take part in that.
So, given all this, I wanted to share a little bit about how we're planning to build out the Avatar story world with fans in mind, because obviously they are crucial to our ongoing success. You do not top $2.8 billion at the box office with your next sequel without really having folks who are insistent that they're going to be there opening day. At the end of it, the films are the core. They need to be the primary engine that drives our development. And for each of your story worlds, you know what that is. That core aspect of your story world that really encapsulates the DNA of what it is you are trying to communicate through your narrative. That has to drive everything. But then for us, beyond the films, we actually need to use, as I said, a portfolio strategy so that we have something to offer each demographic within our fan base. As I said, 47% of our fans are women. When Avatar came out in 2009, we basically had nothing to offer women outside of the film except a Halloween costume. And even if you're a fan of Avatar, not every woman should dress as Neytiri for Halloween. So that was obviously a big miss. We had all of these women who had loved the fans, and we had nothing for them to buy and do to continue to deepen their experience with the film except the DVD. We're also planning for the long tail. And by that I mean making sure that we capture every detail so that over time we have the information that we need to sustain ourselves. George Lucas, back in 1977, probably did not think he had decades and decades of Star Wars storytelling in front of him. So that left some open opportunities for how they needed to develop canon around the Star Wars world. We are capturing every detail of the story world as these sequels are developed so that even aspects that don't make it into the films or the novels or publishing are all available to us over time so that we can continue to extend our story world for many years across many different kinds of fans. At the end of the day, as I mentioned, we want these fans to buy tickets, and we want them to hopefully engage with the products and experiences that we're going to have in the market. But these engagements cannot just be about making money. That is the absolute road to failure. All those engagements have to be about continuing to express the DNA of our brand. Avatar's DNA drives all those brand extensions, of course, along with what fans want. But if it's just about making money, you will fail. So, based on our understanding of the market and what fans most want to buy and to do, we have a long-term plan for how to meet our fans where they expect and want us to be. We really need to provide experiences and opportunities that are relevant to what they like about the franchise. So I just want to share with you some of the things that are already in the market or that we're planning to give you examples. Obviously, these are examples for a very large IP. So please don't look at this and go, oh, fine, great, you can do that with Avatar, but I can't do that with my story world. Take these as core ideas that you could extrapolate at the appropriate scale for your story world. So we have Avatar the exhibition, which is on tour. It actually started in Canada at the museum after being initially at the EMP Sci-Fi Museum in Seattle. And Avatar the exhibition is on tour around the country. It's right now at the Henry Ford Museum. It's an opportunity to really go behind the scenes in the making of Avatar. You can learn more about the world, about the plants, about the animals. You can actually experience the technology used in creating the film yourself. You can do a bit of performance capture, a bit of virtual camera work. So it's really a way into the film for fans. We just announced that the Avatar Land at Disney's Animal Kingdom is moving forward to open early in 2017. And the beauty of this, leaving aside the fact that it's going to be amazing, is that for all of those people who are very sad after Avatar came out in 2009 that they could not actually go to Pandora, we fixed that problem. Collectibles. It is really interesting how many people want to own a piece of the film that they are passionate about. So collectibles continues to be a big business for us. This is an image from San Diego Comic-Con. And mobile games is a huge opportunity for us. We had a single mobile game at the film release, and we are working on a full portfolio of mobile games because it's the absolute best way to make sure that we have different kinds of experiences for different kinds of fans. Now, as we look toward the sequels, and as I said, there are 3 sequels in development, currently slated to release holiday 16, 17, and 18. There will, of course, be a comprehensive licensing program that goes along with the sequels so that all segments of the fan base can engage in the way they want to in regions around the world. And we're also going to continue to broaden the story world and deepen the connection through new content. As you all have experienced, one piece of content is not enough. You have to keep feeding the content out there. You have to keep deepening and extending your story. So this is something that we're looking at primarily initially through publishing, but over time through other methods to make sure that we continue to build our story world and deepen the lore that fans can engage with. For example, we've already announced that Stephen Gould, who wrote Jumper, and is a well-known sci-fi novelist, is actually part of the writing team for the sequels, and his job is going to be to write 4 novels based on the Avatar world. So a certain amount of the storytelling that is developed will make it into the films, but Stephen will then be able to go deeper and broader with those novels, and even as the films are coming out, fans who want more will be able to go deeper. So fans are wonderful and fan engagement is key, but there are also challenges when fans take a larger role in franchise creation. You've figured out who they are, you've prepared for them, you've made a concerted effort to engage with them, and then sometimes things go a little bit sideways. You know, user-generated content is fascinating and powerful, but a double-edged sword. Because for everything that you see and you go, that's cool, there's something you see and you go, that's not so cool. You need to get up to speed on how your story world is interpreted in international markets. This is an image of the filmmakers in China. In China, who knew that Avatar, which became the #1 film of all time in China and is still the #1 non-local film in China, would be all about the floating mountains, because the floating mountains were based on images from a mountain range in China, which has since been renamed the Hallelujah Mountains, and you can take an avatar tour to go see the Hallelujah Mountains. I think there was a little bit of a sense that we filmed Avatar in China, which clearly is not the case. Then there are the things that you cannot plan for. Fans interpret your story world through their own lens. No matter what your intention is, they interpret it their own way. And nobody can plan for what to do when Palestinian activists dress as your characters and protest Israel and its policies and get tear gassed, and it's up there on YouTube for everybody to see. Okay. Yeah, you also need to deal with a world where fans expect lots of additional content, as I mentioned before, for free, and they also expect to be able to vote, to be able to choose. They want to be active in their development of story worlds that they care about. And you need to decide whether you're open to that, and if so, in what context. So what does this mean for story worlds in general? Well, you need to be personal and relevant. Personal and relevant. Give them what they want and let them know it's coming from you, because that personal touch means a lot. And fans who want to go deeper, they expect to be able to keep exploring and keep deepening their connection. So it's up to you to provide those opportunities, again, at the scale that's appropriate for your story world. That said, be really clear with yourself up front about how much of a role and how much access you want to give them, because once you open the door with fans, it is incredibly difficult to close it again. So just be very conscious about those decisions as you make them, because fans can do amazing things for your brand, but you have no guarantee that it will turn out the way you would choose. You might have fans who like unexpected aspects of your story world. So don't be afraid to explore multiple niches, try things, see what works, while always making sure you're discoverable. Trying a bunch of things does not mean scattering yourself so broadly that nobody can find you. And most importantly, and this could have actually been my entire presentation, be authentic. Be authentic, be authentic. Fans will see through you if you are not authentic, because when you tell your friends, "Onnegata kamea," I see you, they need to know that you really mean it. Okay. So how do you know you've succeeded? There are lots of ways to tell if you've moved beyond having an audience to having true fans. These are people who have engaged with you personally, beyond just buying a ticket or watching a TV show or a webisode or reading a graphic novel. We are very lucky to be in contact with many of our friends, either virtually or personally, and every once in a while, we get a message from a fan that lets us know that our story world really has a share of someone's heart. And I'm thrilled to be able to share one of those with you today. Please meet Alice.
Hi everyone. So I'm Alice, and today is August 16th, which is a very big day because it's James Cameron's birthday. James is very important to me as he created Avatar, whose main guy, Jake, is in a wheelchair like me. Jake ends up being the hero, and I want to be the hero too. My condition means I can't walk and have a curve in my back, which aches a bit, but it's okay. This is why Avatar is special, because Jake gets to walk again, and I get to see what it might be like to someone like me, as I've never done it. So to thank James, I wanted to give him a present. I thought of something, and it's pretty special. But before I give it, I have a message for him. James, when you made Avatar, you didn't think of me. You just wanted to make a compelling movie. I want to be a film director too, so I understand the need to make a good film. But Avatar changed my life. I promised to try and become like Jake, the brave, bold leader. But I'm not Jake, not yet. I'm another one of your characters. I'm Newt, the little girl who was lost and alone. 'Cause life's knocked me back more than a few times, and every time I've tried to climb back up, but it's hard. It would just be really nice if I could meet you, and it would be even nicer if you could tell me you were proud. But you've inspired me to be like Jake, so I'll give you your present now. So James, if you are watching this, then you know who I am and all my dreams will finally come true. But we'll see. Have a lovely birthday, and I see you.
Thank you.